I don't know, this fucking drinking bullshit has got to stop. How many fucking times I've said that, and meant it. The truth of the matter is, in many ways, I feel like a broken man. But no, no, hold on. I was gonna use like an analogy, like it'd be like, you know, like a broken table if you don't have any screw. I feel like what I mean is, I feel like I know how to fix myself. Basically, I guess if I just say it plainly, I know how to fix myself because I've had some success in the past. I need to rest. I need to detoxify. I need to get away from the fucking negative people and the negative fucking energies that bog me down and, run me down and fucking drain me. Get away from the fucking energy vampires and the fucking psychopathic narcissists, all this other bullshit, and get out and, get to have some fucking good and some positive shit in my life for a while. I need a vacation, basically. I need to get away from the bullshit. I need a vacation from the bullshit for a while. And yes, I need to sober up. And that's how I could do it pretty goddamn easily. I sobered up for like almost 4 months before it was, I just went to the store and I bought like 30 something gallons of water or something. 35 or something gallons of water. Loaded up the back of my pickup truck with a ton of water, like multiple shopping cart trips full of just carts with just gallons of water. And then I bought like a whole month or more worth, tons of all the groceries I could. Spent all my food stamps, right? That at the time is what I had. And I brought it home. And I stacked the water in the corner and I stocked the freezer and I just stayed away from the outside world and its bullshit for a while. For a week or two, I just stayed home. And I got lucky and negative people didn't really show up. This guy Bill showed up after like 2 weeks, but 2 weeks in, it's like I kicked it, It's like the urge was gone. And I really developed a new, more clear view of alcohol to where if I saw that shit in a store, I would look at that shit with so much hatred and anger that like I wanted to just grab those bottles of booze out the shelves and throw them across the store and watch them shatter on the fucking floor. I like to just walk into a store with a, liquor store with a fucking Uzi and shoot the damn bottles to shit, Like, it'd be like fucking, Kid Rock, shooting a case of Coors Light with an MP5, like, that's how I felt like when I saw the fucking booze. And for a while, I just wouldn't look at it, For a while, I just wouldn't look at it. But it's fucking everywhere, so it's kind of hard, not look at it since the alcohol is everywhere in every grocery store you go to. If you have to go places, if you go to a grocery store, you stop off at a convenience store to get a soda or a tea or something. Everywhere you go, there it is. tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of gallons of it right in your face. Signs advertising it, hot babes in bikinis and paradise in the sun, and friends laughing together and pictures and all this kind of shit are portrayed on this crap, and it brainwashes you, It's right there. So how I managed to sober up for almost 4 months in 2015 is I didn't go to town for about a month. I just bought all the groceries and stuff and stocked up. And I think I stayed home for like a couple of weeks just watching. I started watching more positive stuff. And like I was drinking detox tea every day, taking Metamucil, taking vitamins, getting some exercise. I'd go in the bathroom on the summertime and, turn the shower on, high heat and bring like a steam. They had this steam thing for a steam sauna that I'd bring in there. Before that, I would just bring in like a pot of boiling water and set it on the counter or on the toilet lid or something. And I would, take a schwitz or, take a steam and make myself sweat. And I'd do that, and I'd take like really hot baths, like almost scalding hot baths in like salt water and stuff. And after a couple weeks, I basically had it beat, and like the urge was just not there anymore, hardly, And within a month, I was going back to town, and I could look at the booze now, and I just looked at it with like fiery hatred, Hated the shit. Hated it. Filthy, disgusting, fucking poisonous shit, Hated its guts for what it's done to me, And I do now too, but that's not what hits me all the time, this fucking bullshit, it's gotta be brainwashed or something, now, like on a subconscious level, No, I mean, that's how I could sober up and like really straighten my life up, really improve my health. It's just to have a few months where I don't have to go deal with bullshit. If I could do that, I could step back out into the world like a new man and, rejuvenated, refreshed, renewed, healthier, clear-headed, ready to face the world and kick its ass, at least for a while, as long as I can find a way to have like a balance in life to where I have some good in my life. There's got to be at least a fucking balance. If you don't have a balance, if you've just got bad after bad after bad, and you don't have enough good to balance out the bad or to overcome the bad, then you're not going to be happy, Simple as that. You're not going to have a good fucking time. You just have to deal with bullshit and more bullshit and nothing but bullshit all the fucking time. It makes you fucking miserable. Makes you want to drink, I know some of you don't have to imagine this, but I mean, for those of you that do, imagine how you would feel if, your family, your own family, and all the friends you grew up with, and the friends you went to high school with, and the friends you went to grade school with, the friends that were there at your birthday party when you were 6 years old, the slept over at your house when you were kids and your best friends and stuff, and all your family and all that weren't talking to you, and you hadn't seen them in years, and you knew that one day, right, they were gonna die, and you probably wouldn't even know about it for months or years, and you'd never get to tell them how you felt about them, never get to make up for whatever kept you apart, you know? I mean, you know how that feels? And how it would feel to feel like, you know, like if you died, wondering would anybody even be there? Would anyone be there, show up to your funeral? Would you even have a funeral? Would anyone even bury you? Would there even be a box? Would there be any marker letting anyone in the future know that you were ever here? Would anybody shed a tear if you were gone tomorrow? You know? Imagine how that would feel. And if you don't have to imagine, I'm sorry, you know? In the same fucking boat, basically. I think about this sort of dark shit sometimes, you know, like I wonder, you know, like if I slipped in the fucking shower, cracked my fucking head open, or whatever, right? Or had a damn heart attack, or, you know, whatever the fuck. How long would it be before somebody would even find the body, would even know I was gone or find the body? You know? Be a week, 2 weeks, a month. Maybe somebody would start to wonder what was up when there was a smell and they'd call somebody. You know? Something smells like rotting flesh in there. Like, yeah, right? I mean, really, yeah. You know, to be in a situation where like nobody's there for you. It's like if you started having bad seizures, nobody's there to help keep you from swallowing your tongue, or comfort you or bring you out of it. You know, nobody's there to call an ambulance if you pass out or hurt yourself. You know how fuck that is, right? Honestly, I almost feel like I should have one of those fucking one of those, you know, life alert fucking things or something. Help, I've fallen and I can't get up, you know. I don't know. No. People got cell phones now, yeah, but no, but really, like, if you're, like, you know what that feels like to just feel like abandoned by the world, right? It fucking sucks, right? I think I've got it worse than some people because I used to have it better, you know? People that have had it bad their whole fucking lives, they're used to it, you know? I never really get used to it. I mean, I kind of do. In a way, I do. In a way, I start to expect things to go bad because they always seem to fucking do it now. But it didn't used to be that way for me, you know? I used to have so many women throwing themselves at me, I practically had to beat them off with a stick, you know? Chicks were like fighting over me and shit, basically, you know? I had a damn girlfriend a dozen years now. I mean, I've been laid, of course, had here and there, you know, but there's been some consecutive years where I haven't, though. Like right now, it's been like, ooh, 2.5 years now. Well, I mean, no, I do. I think it's probably somewhat like people that have dealt with things being shitty like their whole life. That to them is like home or something, you know? That is what they're just used to. I mean, I grew up in like a good size, you know, big 2-story house. Our bathroom was bigger than my whole fucking apartment, you know? Grew up on 3 acres, you know? And have birthday parties when I was a kid. I'd have fucking like 20 fucking friends over. Kids used to, you know, I used to have like, yeah, a bunch of friends. Girls were into me. And, just, you know, and I mean, like, you know, I grew up, I went to concerts. I got to go to Disneyland and SeaWorld and Wildlife Safari and Universal Studios and SeaWorld and, you know, amusement parks. And I go to the carnivals, and you know, if I go to a carnival alone, it wouldn't take me 5 or 10 minutes before I'd be riding rides with some girl, and you know, we'd just be riding rides together the whole fucking time. And now it's like, trying to remember the last time I even went to a concert, you know. I tried to go to a free one in a park a few years ago, and most of the parking was like blocked off. Literally, an area that would be about over 90%, I would say, of the total parking at that place was blocked off by guys in like orange vests with cones out in the way. This disabled parking this way. Like, what? And the other little parking area is tiny. And I mean, there were cars, there was no parking for many like miles and miles, dude. So like I didn't end up even going. I tried to go to the carnival a few years ago too, but I wanted to save money and not get stuck in their super crowded parking lot. So I thought, oh, I'll just walk from you know, Walmart or whatever like I used to, you know, or somewhere like over there, you know. and I parked a ways away, and I walked over, down by the railroad tracks, right? There's pretty much just, steep slope and the ditches on the sides and stuff, and it's mostly just railroad tracks for a long ways. And a fucking train comes, almost fucking hits me. I had to jump out of the fucking way of the train because this thing just came flying around the corner at me, I had to jump off the tracks out of the way of the train. Almost got hit by a train. Before I even got to that side of the road, I was over on the other side walking. Came very close to getting hit by a car before I was finally able to cross the road. Then I almost got hit by a fucking train on the way there. By the time I got there, I'd been walking and, trying to, jump out of the way of trains, and I was just kind of tired. I didn't feel like continuing to walk hundreds more yards and go in there to deal with some fare when I'm just by myself. And so I just fucking turned, and I thought, if it gets much later and I wear myself out walking around all day, like, I'm not going to want to walk all the fucking way back to my car later on, So I was like, screw it, I might as well just turn around and go back to my car now while I still can, while there's still daylight, so I don't get hit by a fucking train or something, So I did. Shit. I don't know, the way I've been living here for a couple of years, I mean, shit's weird and the time blends together, I've been experiencing, like, I heard people talking about how it seems like time's getting so much faster. Time's speeding up, I experienced that sometime, but I experienced something stranger than that, honestly. I experience time warps, time slips, all kinds of different weird things. Sometimes time speeds up massively where a whole day goes by and it only seems like a couple of hours. Other times, 5 or 6 hours goes by, it only seems like it's been an hour or something. Like, on days when I go out and have gone out and work, when it was getting dark earlier, or when I stop early and I get here at like 4 or something. It's like the next thing I know, I'm looking at the clock and it's like after midnight or it's 1 in the morning, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Because like it seemed like it was, daylight out, like I just got here fucking not long ago. Yeah, that's about the time speeding up. Now let's talk about other situations. I've also had situations where there's been days where, or hours or whatever, or time where a time period goes by that feels like hours, but it's only been like a few minutes. Or time goes by that feels like it's been a week or more. But it's only been one day. Mm-hmm. I've also had like time skips like forwards and backwards sometimes. Mm-hmm. And I've witnessed things that seem like some kind of reversal and stuff. Like something stronger than deja vu. Like, no, that just happened. I've already been here before. what brought that up is I don't know why, for some reason I I was thinking about 4th of July and fireworks for whatever reason. Maybe I was talking about holidays or something. And I was remembering the last time I shot off fireworks. And I was so sure that it was last summer. But then I realized that it wasn't. It was 2 years ago. 2 fucking years ago that was. I don't know, man. I'll tell you another thing about what seems to be the strange thing about time is I really feel like the amount of time that I'm supposed to believe has gone by, like it's been a lot longer than that. Of course, I've had weird like time distortion shit even in the past, like the age of 16. So much stuff went on when I was 16, and I have so many memories from when I was 16 of so many things that I did and so many things that happened then that the year I was 16 years old seems like 10 or 15 years happened in that one year. Yeah. At least 10 years, I would say. I mean, seriously, when I was 16, my parents got divorced and remarried. Before that, when I was 16, okay. So when I was 16, let's see, I went to Disneyland and Universal Studios at one point. My parents got divorced and remarried, moved out of the house, moved in with my mom. I hooked up with, I know what must have been at least like 100 chicks when I was 16. And there's all sorts of other stuff that happened. I went to a bunch of parties. I went to the river a bunch of times. I walked all over the place. I hung out with, met a whole bunch of people. I just a whole bunch of stuff happened just when I was 16. Way, like, so many things that it seems like it would have to have been like 10 years. That's also when a lot of weird shit started happening. So I don't know if I died then or something or what the heck. But things started to get weird when I was 16. That was like, I mean, things had been weird throughout my life, but the level of weird and the level of like dark, malevolent sort of shit that was going on and just weird, strange things just ramped up tremendously from the time I was 16. And I would say that whole time warp thing where a year felt like 10 years or more. That's, I'm sure, obviously like a weird, I guess that's kind of a change of topics. I was just saying at first, like, it sucks to feel like, I hate this feeling like I know how I could heal myself and sober up and everything. It's like, I mean, it almost seems as simple to me as changing a light bulb, but it's like, I don't have another light bulb, nor can I afford one. So I can't change the light bulb, you know? Or having something on your car that you could easily fix, but you don't have the tool and you can't afford the tool, you know? So it's just cheaper to pay somebody to do it for you, you know? Mm-hmm. So like that's kind of how I feel like about myself, my own situation, my drinking issue, all that. It's like I feel like I'm broke, and you know, have you heard the phrase, you know, physician, heal thyself, you know? I feel like I really could, you know? But I feel like I don't have the tools to do so. I don't have the time. I don't have the place. I don't have the, you know, the situation right. I don't know. I got to come up with like a plan there, man. There's problems though, you know, right? Because like, I mean, I thought of a plan right there in my mind. I thought, you know, hey, maybe what I should do is when the weather gets nicer, I should just ditch this apartment and go camping for the summer. Just get out in nature and go camping. Just bring a bunch of food and water and go camping and get away from the bullshit, you know? The thing is, though, that I can't get away from the bullshit now, you know, because maybe I could for a while, for a little while, but not for long, because I still got bills to pay, even if I don't have a fucking apartment. I still got my store, I still got car insurance, storage facility, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? And the cost of maintenance and if I was going to go stay out in the woods, you know, if I don't want to end up being homeless for next winter or something, then I have to have something figured out for that. I should be stocking up money, you know? So it's like I have to be working. Jeez, oh, God damn it. Did it do it again? Yes. This fucking cap on this thing sucks. I've never had these tanks do this. The only tank that's ever done that. I've always, like, when I'm not paying attention, I start fidgeting with the thing and flipping it around and stuff. I've, like, always done that. This is the first tank I've had where that stupid little rubber gasket keeps popping open when I'm doing that. Juice fucking goes flying out. The little gasket's fucked up or something. I don't know, man. It's like, no, seriously, honestly, if I could just get away from fucking bullshit, get away from the grind and the negative fucking people and the drama and the booze and, you know, and just have some kind of, like, a more positive fucking experience for even just a few months, a couple months, I could fucking straight up turn my life around if I could do that, you know? But I don't know that I can even afford to do that. I think I would have to become full on homeless. And I would have, you know, Because I just don't have the resources to do it. And besides that, this place is not good either. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could heal up and sober up for more of an extended period, even right here, if I just stayed here and stocked up on food and water for a month or something and just didn't fucking leave the damn room. Didn't go hang out with the neighbors, didn't leave the room. Maybe. Maybe. And some sunlight, coming through the windows and whatever, right? Maybe. I don't know, man. This place is just, there's like a dark energy here. It's draining, you know? So most of the time, like, I wake up in the morning and I'm trying to get ready to go work or something. A lot of the time, I just feel fucking drained. I feel like I've just been vamped, basically. Like there's just some dark energy, like, fucking hold me down, and I get out of here. I get, miles away, and all of a sudden, bam, I got energy again, and I'm ready to go. It's like I wake up all of a sudden. But it's like no amount of drinking energy drinks or taking vitamins and ginseng or any of that shit can really wake me up until I just get the fuck out of here. And once I've been out of here for a while, I start to feel better. Mm-hmm. I'm not imagining this shit, man. I mean, even this dude Mitchell I talk to sometimes, he was a friend of mine from way back in the day or whatever. He's kind of one of these guys that in many ways is a bad influence. In other ways, he isn't. He's one of the most intelligent of them, and who's, kind of pulling his shit together and everything. And, definitely interesting, and, he's had a lot of experience with things and lived in his car for years and stuff. And he's been telling me, man, you just got to get the fuck out of there. Just go live in your car, and, and I think that might be my only fucking option to, if I could get, because if I could just, the problem is I think I'd have to go make money anyway, so I'd have to be dealing with some bullshit, but I'd probably have to deal, in some ways I just have to deal with different bullshit. Maybe if I could figure out the ins and outs of how to make it work right, maybe I wouldn't have to deal with as much, maybe. I mean, if I could get out and just go camping or something, or just have goddamn positive experiences, good things in my life. You know how fucking long it's been since I've really, like, had fun? Or since I've, like, really, truly laughed? Or I mean, seriously, I could sit there and listen and watch one of the funniest comedians in the world do a stand-up routine and just sit here like blank face and maybe occasionally go, you know? I used to laugh my ass off, man, when I'd be watching comedians. But I've just been like stuck in darkness and negativity for like so fucking long and so repressed. I need to laugh. I need to dance. I need to sing. I need to love and be loved, in order to to break out of this fucking darkness, you know? I mean, what? I mean, a lot of people, you know, most people wouldn't treat an animal though, like with. I mean, seriously, what do you think happens to a bird or a cat or something if they're just left alone and abandoned? You know, they become, you know, wild and just depressed and pissed off, and you know, well, the same thing happens to a person. You know, you see a bird whose owner's been gone all day or something. Owner will get home and the bird's like all sad or pissed off or something. And the person goes and talks to the bird for a while and is nice to it, and before you know it, the bird's happy and singing and joking around, you know, bobbing its head and dancing around and shit, you know. You know, you leave leave a dog alone off by himself with, you know, nobody to play with and no one, you know, that cares, and you'll just see the dog like laying over there, and you're standing in the corner fucking with his head hanging low, looking all sad and depressed, or just laying on the floor like, you know. The same thing fucking happens to a person, you know. And I am a fucking person, you know. And that's how I fucking felt. That's how I feel, you know. That's. I don't know, I should try and make this a bit shorter, you know. No, really, it sucks. It's like, I don't know. Honestly, that's how I really feel. I feel like I've just been like abandoned, isolated, treated like shit, and left in a sad state basically for too long. Like I've been like almost abandoned to death or something, you know. And it just, I don't want to let myself fucking be destroyed and continue to be laid low. I'm gonna fucking rise above this shit. I hope to hell that I can, you know. It's just difficult, you know, without help, right? You know, there's this channel on YouTube I used to watch. I haven't watched it in a while. It's called Big No No, like KNOWNO. And it's just this dude actually lives in the same state I do. I never actually been able to talk to him, or he's just never really responded much, you know, to my questions and even talked to me. But I've had similar issue to him, but there's a big difference between his situation and my situation. His situation, he's got like a steady girlfriend, has been with him for years and put up with the shit, that actually loves and cares about him, that sticks around through his hard times, and I don't. He's got a whole team of doctors that seem to actually give a shit about him and actually be trying to help him. I don't. He's got family and around, helpful and supportive of him. I don't. I'm sure he's probably got friends and all that, that are supportive and shit, probably. I don't. He's got the, financial resources to where he's got an actual home or something, or at least, a better place that he can afford and stuff. And a nice, gym membership and all this, medicine. A lot of the medicine that he's on, like, I need it. That's a lot of the same shit that's the sort of shit that could potentially help me. I mean, he keeps fucking falling off the wagon and still having issues, but I mean, me and his issues and my issues are very similar. The difference is he has help that's there for him, and I fucking don't. Now, me, I do believe that I could honestly basically heal myself. That all it would take would be for me to be in a more natural environment or to be around good, kind, caring, empathetic fucking people that I can relate to. People that fucking that understand me and what I'm going through, my issue, one of my big issues here that I've had for years is most people, and I mean the absolute vast majority of people, when I get real and I'm talking to them about whatever, we're having a conversation, they completely misunderstand me and mischaracterize me in a negative way and paint me in a negative light that isn't true, that isn't based in truth. It's based on misconception and misunderstanding, Every now and then, I'll run into somebody, over throughout the years, every now and then I'll run into somebody that I can talk to and we can have a conversation and it's like it used to be. And they don't misunderstand me and they get what I'm saying and they actually seem to give a shit. And then, poof, they're gone, never to be heard from again, And it's like, well, that was nice. Have that reminder of what a normal fucking conversation with a normal fucking person was like, but back in the day, that's how it used to be with everybody back in the day. But now it's like we're speaking different languages. The words are the same, but they don't mean the same thing. Or there's like a knowledge barrier where it's just like a barrier of different experiences and people not understanding the experiences you've had because they haven't had them. That's or not understanding what you're saying because they've had a different input of information, like, well, you know what I mean, like some people think that vaccines are great, and other people think that they're not so great. And those people have had different information that they have researched and absorbed and have therefore formed differing opinions. Some people think masks are helpful, others don't. They've taken in different sets of information, based their decision on that different types of information, and have just decided that that's what they believe, right? So you can't talk to those people and have an understanding because you're coming from a different place. Well, I mean, one of the things is just like all the stuff that I've read and that I've researched and the documentaries I've watched and the college lectures and TED Talks and all that shit. I gotta stop flipping this thing around, that stupid cap on this thing. Oh, I'll pop off. Well, I don't know. I feel like I'm in a world where it's like everybody has an opinion on everything, and like if you were to discuss some book you'd read with just anybody, right? It's like we live in a world where they've never read this book, never heard of it, never watched the movie, nothing, but they have an opinion, a very strong opinion, that's contrary to your take on the book that they've never read. You know, kind of. That's kind of the sort of shit I deal with. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like an idiot. I feel ashamed of everything from the drinking. Absolutely. People always tell you to take responsibility for everything, that everything happens in your life, in your situation. Like my dad, he sent me a meme just today. Sends me shit like that all the time. Uh, don't blame other people for your situation, for the road you're on. It's your own ass fault. Like, ha ha, right? Uh huh. But that's bullshit in a large way because we are shaped by our environment and the situations we've been through is our experience, and our experience shapes the way we think and feel and the way we react to what goes on around us, and the way we the way we interact in the world is shaped by our experience and by those around us and the influences that we're surrounded by. That's reality. But I feel like we live in a world where most people, especially all the people with the resources and the power and the people that are pretending like they want to help, that's their prescription is to take responsibility for everything and blame all your problems directly on yourself and no one else. Uh-huh. But I'm sorry, man. Like, somebody has got to fucking stand up. Like, somebody's got to stand up for you. If nobody else will do it, you've got to do it for yourself. You know? Somebody's got to see your side of things. If nobody else is going to do it, you have to do it, you know? Or everybody's just against you, including yourself. I feel like that's a really, really negative, one of the most negative aspects of our society now in the modern day is that idea of take responsibility for everything in your life situation. It's all your fault. It's all on you, and you are the entire problem. You know, in a sense, there is a logic to that. That if you just change yourself, then your situation will become better because you've become better. I understand that aspect of it, but I can't sit here and pretend like there's not a lot of fault for a lot of the problems in the world that goes to other people. You know, I mean, by the logic of, you know, take responsibility for your life and everything in it, it's all your fault, right? So was World War One my fault? Was World War Two my fault? No. Was what my ancestors did or didn't do 5,000 years ago my fault? You know? Is the government we have my fault? Are the religious institutions in the world my fault? You know? How about the Chicago fire back in, you know, whatever, hundreds of years ago? Is that my fault? Did I kick over the lamp? You know what I mean? I did. No. No. Take responsibility, you know? No, I mean, that way of thinking, really, that way of thinking, especially taken to extremes, and everyone tells you, take it, responsibility for everything in your life that happens and blah, 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 because it's your fault. So is it my fault that my mom died? Is it my fault that all my pets died? Is it my fault that, you know what I mean? Is it my fault that I was born? Is it my fault that I was born here to this family? You know, is it my fault that, you know what I mean? Is it my fault that Adam and Eve ate from the tree of knowledge of good and evil? Is it my fault? Is that my fault? Take responsibility, you know? You know, the fucking kids that got abused on, like, Epstein Island or something, is that their fault? Is it the kids' fault? Should they take responsibility for the situation in their life? Really? You know? If like, I just saw a story from, like, yesterday or something, a YouTube video, you know, they interviewed this guy that's homeless living on the street. His wife died a couple of years ago. She came down with, I don't know, like, I don't remember what it was, like cancer or something, and she had to go through, like, treatment and surgery and all that, and it left them, you know, with a huge hospital bill, and she died, and he's expected to pay the hospital bill, and he can't afford to, so he lost his home, and he's in debt, like $50,000 or more or something, and he's living on the street, and he can't get out of it. What's he supposed to do? Take responsibility, right? Really? Take responsibility. The fucking alcohol companies making, I don't know, many billions, if not trillions of dollars, ruining the lives of many millions of people. And the drunk, the alcoholic, is supposed to take responsibility. It's all your fault. You know what I mean? That's the world we live in, man. Take responsibility. Everything is your fault. No, it's not, though. It's not. I mean, obviously, you played a part. Take my take is take responsibility for your part. Take responsibility for what you are responsible for. But it's not your place to take responsibility for shit that was done to you by other people. For the situation you're in, in which many of the circumstances are outside of your control. I mean, really. Like that Pat. I'll give you another example. How about the guy? I don't know. Maybe he would say yes to this or whatever. That guy is amazing, dude. Nick Vujicic or whatever. He's this big time. He's a pastor. Goes around to like prisons giving speeches and talking to inmates and he has a big congregation. He was born with no arms and legs. Yeah, that guy. He's major inspirational dude right there. That guy. And there's another guy like that that's also a pastor that, well, not like that. He had a different situation. He was kidnapped and molested when he was a kid, and locked in a I don't know, like a closet or storage container for a long time before the police found him. And he had like kind of rough childhood and rough early years, but now he goes around giving, inspirational speeches and doing martial arts demonstrations and stuff. Victor Marx, I believe. Yeah. But I mean, is he supposed to take responsibility for what happened to him as a child? Is Nick Vujicic supposed to take responsibility for being born with no arms and legs? You know what I mean? I mean, he rose above it. There are amazing people that rise above it, But I really feel like most of them, at least, maybe not all of them, but most of them, they have good, supportive people around them that help them through it, or they had some, more positive stuff in their life, like I don't know, maybe like a support animal or something would help me. Just having, I don't know, I think they'd mess with my sleep. Like, it would be hard to sleep, probably. I don't know. I think yes, they would be. It would be helpful to have like a dog or a cat around, but like having to go take a dog for a walk constantly, let him out, for the bathroom, having to worry about, when live in town, worry about the traffic and all that stuff, and feeling bad for shutting him up in a little tiny apartment or something, and then having him like messing with you while you're trying to sleep and stuff like that, and shedding and potentially making a mess. I mean, that would be. Plus, it's an extra expense. But yeah, that's one thing that would fucking definitely brighten things up. I mean, my whole life until the last few years, or the last 3, 4, 5 years or something. Up until then, I always had pets. I mean, we had a bunch of pets. I mean, like at my mom's house, I don't know, like certainly like probably circa like say 2005, 2007, and even later. We probably had like, God, let me think, like 5 or 6 cats, 3 dogs, 2 birds, 3 fish tanks full of fish, and then I think I probably like had a hamster or a gerbil or something. Like when I was a kid, man, I used to have. One time I had I caught a bunch of newts, and they all hatched into little tree frogs. I had a whole like fish tank full of tree frogs. Eventually, I released them, but I would have newts, had hamsters, and gerbil, or no, not a gerbil. I had hamsters. I had guinea pigs. I had a dog. We had multiple dogs in the house, and cats and birds, like my whole life, man. And now I haven't had a pet for years. Haven't even had a fucking pet to talk to or cheer me up. Honestly, I've fallen into such depression somewhere I almost feel like I would be a burden to an animal somewhat. Like I would fucking depress them. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. They'd be trouble in my situation. Having a pet, though, what am I supposed to do? Bring a dog or cat with me while I go deliver food? Leave them sitting out in the car for half an hour or an hour while I go do the shopping, and have a dog crawling all over people's groceries or something, or a cat, or just leave them shut up in an apartment all day for 6, 8, 10 hours. And then if I become homeless, am I supposed to just be, homeless with a dog or a cat too? Make the dog or cat be homeless with me? People do it. I don't know. I gotta have something. I gotta have some kind of fucking compassion. No, it's fucked up, dude. Like, literally, like, Must have been probably over a year since I like I even had a dog lick me or something, you know. Since I even got a hug from a dog, you know. Cat showed up here a while back, a number of months ago. I thought about keeping her, but I was worried she was like a neighbor's cat, you know. And I mean, she wanted to be here, wanted to be with me, but I was afraid I'd be like stealing somebody's cat, you know. And besides that, I didn't think I could afford her, and I thought the distraction of having her around and the stuff I would have to do to take care of her would take extra time, and that I would have I really believe even still now that if I had kept that cat, I probably would have ended up homeless at the end of that month instead of being able to make the bills. I probably wouldn't have made the bills that month if I'd had that cat, if I'd kept that cat. It was hard to let her go, and I felt like crap too, like, because I just let her outside to go to the bathroom, and then I was like, that's got to be a neighbor's cat. I got to just leave her out there, you know. She came back and meowed at the door and came and meowed and banged at my windows and stuff for like a couple days. Like she was persistent. I just was like, oh man, it was killing me. I felt like such a villain or something, you know. I just wanted to let the cat. I'm so sorry, you know. But it's just like she's a real sweet cat. Shit, I had to lose. I had this dog that was sweet too, but that somebody gave me a while, you know. But when I had to move out of my mom's, I didn't know what I was gonna do or where I was going. If I thought I was gonna go stay at my dad's, he told me the last minute, you can't bring that dog here, you know. Just take her to the Humane Society or whatever, right? You know. And I might have, but as I'm moving out, this dog starts to develop like a welt on her ass that almost looks like a cancer tumor or something. And then she must have stepped on something because she wandering in one day with a limp. And I'm like, shit, if I take that dog into a fucking humane society, they're just gonna put her to sleep, you know? She could probably have another year or two or something alive. I tried to give her to multiple people, no one would take her. I knew I was gonna take off, and I didn't know what I was gonna do or where I was gonna live. I didn't think the motel would let me take her. I didn't know that you could. And I was planning on taking her. It was like the last minute we had to move, we had to leave, and this dog ran off over the neighbors, like one of the nastiest, neighbors' houses around. I mean, I'm talking about a neighbor's house where they got like 10 or 15 dudes there that are all like strung out on drugs and fucking violent, criminal minded type people, you know? I really didn't want to have to go walk over there and fucking go chasing after a dog where I don't even know where the hell she was, you know? And I'd only had this dog for like a couple of months. She was a sweet dog, but I didn't really see her so much as my dog. She was my dog because she really cared. She loved me. I know. She was a sweet dog. I'll be honest with you. There's been a couple dogs I've had over the years that I really didn't feel like. I didn't feel like there was loyal. Like the dog was a loyal dog, because they'd run off and go hang out at the neighbor's house or something. They'd break out and run off the neighbors, and they'd do all kinds of. You have to go chasing after them and stuff like that. It's just like. It just kind of felt like, to me, like a betrayal. Like, this ain't a loyal
dog to me. Dog wants to go hang out with the neighbors so much, let her stay there. Basically, kind of is what I was thinking. And they have a bunch of dogs over there. I thought, hell, I don't know what the heck I'm going to do with this dog. If I take her to a humane society, they're probably just going to have her put down. And the family that moved in there had like a dog or two and seemed nice, although it turns out they must have been kind of scummy because they really trashed the place way worse than we had it trashed, which is amazing. But I thought they seemed like nice people, and that they would have, maybe I hope that they would take the dog, or that even the neighbors across the street, that they would, at least they'd feed her and she'd have other dogs to play with and stuff. I thought she'd have better luck surviving if I just left, so I left. I felt bad about it, but I didn't know what the hell else to do. And I didn't even know. I didn't even know where I was going to live. My God, talking about pets. And because I was talking about how, like, maybe like a support animal or something would be good for me, but I'm sure they would. I'm sure it would. If I lived in an environment that was decent. A dog or a cat ought to have like at least a half an acre or an acre to run around in. Ought to have a big acre or two fenced in yard or something, and place that they can go run around and stuff, not be locked in some tiny apartment, or run around in some city. I don't know why the hell anyone. I guess just to be close to the work or whatever, people end up living in cities, but they don't want to make the commute or something. But it boggles my mind why people live in the city. Like, people who can afford to do otherwise would choose to live in the city. It's insane to me. Because this cities are not even hospitable to human beings, and they're not hospitable to animals either. There's not even really very safe, for the most part, there's not very many even really safe places for children to even play. I've been, delivering freaking DoorDash orders to apartment complexes, and there's like a bunch of kids running around in the parking lot. I'm gonna be super duper careful and super duper alert just to keep from fucking hitting them with my car or something, because they're darting out from everywhere. Damn it. I'll be spinning this fucking thing around. I forgot. It's a goddamn habit. Fidget. Tape this fucking thing down, or that never happens with the other ones I've had. This has just got a shittier gasket on it or something.
this sucks. I don't know, 5 or 6. I ought to be able to make $500 or $600 in like 3, 4, or 5 days or something. Realistically, if I can just have some halfway decent days. Although the fact that it's like the end of the month makes it kind of sketchy, like kind of iffy, because a lot of people, are broke toward the end of the month. They know they got to pay their bills too, or they already paid their bills. Now they don't have any fucking money to go buy more groceries or do any of that shit, so that's not good. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna have to. I should have got a fucking credit card, but that would have just bought me some time. It probably wrecked my credit or something for a while though. I suppose maybe I could take a loan out at a bank or something. I guess I could take the money I have now, put it into a CD account, borrow it back, no, that wouldn't. Hold on, let me think about this. I started thinking that would work, but then I thought about it more, and I'm like, wait, that probably wouldn't work, huh? No, I mean, I could borrow the money back, but I don't think I can double it that way when I think about it more. Or, I don't know, I think there's some kind of way where you can like basically borrow twice as much, back on CD, and then you just have to end up having to pay like $50 or $100 a month to pay it off, though. I could probably go into a bank and maybe they'd give me a loan of enough to be able to cover the fucking bills. But then I'd be more in debt, That doesn't help my credit score. I'll get it paid off, quick, I guess, but it would be like minimum payment. I don't know. I don't want to end up fucking on the street, especially in the wintertime, but really at all. But I know this place isn't healthy for me. This place and the people around and just the drama and I mean, that's one issue, and another issue is just, it's like, you stay in the same place too long, especially if you're screwing up, you're getting drunk, you're getting high, you're, making a damn fool of yourself or something, If you want to be able to make a fresh start, you can't do it there, man. Because your past and all the stupid mistakes you've ever made and all the places you've ever done stupid shit and everything, it's always going to be right there in front of you as a reminder, looking you right in the face, Well, you know what I mean, right? Like, oh look, that's where we measured. That's where I measured myself when I was growing up and getting taller. Oh look, that's from that time I was drunk and punched a hole in a door. Now I have a hole in my door, right? Oh, and that's the room where I woke up on the floor, face down, drunk in the morning, Oh, and that's the chair that I threw up on, You know what I mean, right? Stupidity, Yeah, your past haunts you, especially if you're living in a haunted house or, a haunted town, a haunted area, Plus, it's really weird being here. Not only just the memories of things, But this place doesn't even seem real. Like, I don't know if I've talked in other videos about like the Mandela effect sort of shit, right? Changes. Well, this is a place I grew up in, and it's so different. It's like, I feel like I'm an outsider in my own hometown. Like, my hometown has been taken over by other people, and I don't know these people. These people are from somewhere else, and it's like it's their town now. You know, it's kind of the equivalent of like people in Canada who live in places where like the Indians have just taken over the town and we're like the majority now. It's like you feel like a foreigner in your own fucking hometown that you grew up in, you know? It's like the same sort of situation somewhat, you know, here basically. Yeah. I don't know, you know how weird it is to go to be someplace where you've been a million times. You've been there ever since you were a little kid. And it's so different that you hardly recognize it anymore. When your home doesn't feel like home anymore, you know? I need to find a new home, but I don't know what to do, you know? My dad's not going to help me unless I learn how to leap tall buildings in a single bound and, you know, start making, you know, $50,000 a month and instantaneously. I don't know. He's just got all these super high expectations and stipulations for me that make it basically damn near, you know, impossible for me to be able to meet his fucking requirements or something. So he's not gonna fucking help me. He likes to pretend like he'll help me. And he'll make all these stipulations that he knows damn well that I'm not gonna be able to do it. And he doesn't care. He does it because he doesn't really want me there. Or, you know, whatever. So he comes up with ways that he can feel like he's helping or like he's trying to help without actually having to really help, though. You see? That way he gets to feel like a good person because he feels like he tried, you know. So I can't really go over there and try and make a fresh start over there because he won't fucking let me. So I'm probably just going to have to go be homeless and hit the road and try to find somewhere where I can make better money. If I want to... I don't know, it's hard to fucking sober up if you have to constantly continue to deal with bullshit. Sober up, to clear my head, to deal with my trauma and, my, you know, my emotions and my strange experiences, you know, all that. To deal with that when I just can't... I can't take the time that I need to do it. You know? I don't have the resources to give me that time.